Welcome to AI for Beginners Demystified, the podcast that makes artificial intelligence simple, practical, and profitable for small business owners. Each week, we turn complex AI concepts into real-world strategies you can use to grow your business. Hosted by the team at Internet Marketing Services. This is AI for Beginners Demystified, where the future of business starts today. Let's get started.
Welcome to AI for Beginners Demystified, the podcast that makes artificial intelligence simple, practical, and exciting. I'm Rick Samara.
And I'm Paul Stober. Okay, so picture this for a second. It's Tuesday, maybe 1 p.m. You're on your lunch break. You have, 20 minutes to eat a sandwich and finally make that appointment you've been putting off.
We've all been there.
Right? Your tooth hurts or a pipe is leaking for real this time. You Google a local business, you see 5 stars, you tap the number, and you wait. You hear it ringing and more ringing, and then that click. You have reached their voicemail. Arg.
That's the moment. That's when you hang up.
Every single time. I genuinely can't remember the last time I left a voicemail for a business. I just, hang up, go back to Google, and I call the next name on the list. For me, it's a tiny annoyance, but for that business owner, I feel like something much darker is happening there.
Darker is actually a pretty good word for it. You've just described what some people call the silent killer of a modern local business. Yeah, that little moment of friction, the unanswered call, is technically a revenue leak.
A revenue leak. That sounds cliche.
It is, but what it really means is you're just lighting money on fire.
Oh.
So today, we're diving deep into a solution that claims to put that fire out. We're looking at the rise of the AI employee and specifically a technology called Voice AI Plus from a company called Internet Marketing Services.
And before we get into the tech, I want to clarify something because AI is one of those words that means everything and nothing right now.
Uh-huh.
The source material we have makes a really big deal about shifting the language. They don't call this a tool. They don't call it software. They keep calling it a personal AI agent. Is that just marketing, or is there a real difference?
It sounds like marketing. I know. But that distinction is actually accurate.
Okay.
It's vital to understand why this is different. Think about, say, Microsoft Word.
Okay.
That's a tool. It just sits there, passive, waiting for you to type.
If you don't use it, nothing happens.
Nothing. An agent or an employee has agency. It has a job description. It can initiate action. The documents we're looking at describe a system that answers phones, negotiates calendar slots, and this is the kicker. It proactively calls people back, all without a human pushing a button in that moment.
So it's the difference between having a hammer and having a carpenter.
That's a perfect analogy. Yeah. And the whole reason this shift is even happening now is because the old way of doing things is just, it's broken. The source material talks about this concept called voicemail roulette, which is just brilliant branding for a terrible problem.
Voicemail roulette. I saw that. It implies that if you leave a message, maybe you get a call back, maybe you don't, but you're basically gambling.
And you almost always lose. The business loses too. The source highlights this really stubborn fact that despite all the apps and chatbots, when people have an urgent problem, that toothache, that leaking pipe, they call...
Tehi want a voice. They want to know it's handled, like, now.
Right. But the problem is, the human at the front desk has this massive physical limitation.
They only have one mouth and 2 ears.
Exactly. A receptionist can only answer one call at a time. It's a natural bottleneck.
Mm-hmm.
So if 2 people call your pizza place at 6 o'clock on a Friday,
one gets an answer, the other gets sent to voicemail roulette.
And we know what that second caller does? They don't wait. They just call the other pizza place.
Okay. Let me play devil's advocate here for a second. Isn't the solution just to hire more people? If you're missing calls, doesn't that mean you're busy enough to afford a second receptionist?
In a perfect world, maybe. But you have to look at the margins for these small businesses. Hiring another full-time staff member, we're talking salary, benefits, training, just to catch a few overflow calls. The math almost never works out. Plus, there's the burnout factor. The source has this one line that really stuck with me. It said, "Your staff was hired for people, not hold music."
Meaning you hired them to greet the person who walks in the door, not to be glued to a phone.
Precisely. If your front desk person is dealing with a line of customers right in front of them and the phone starts ringing off the hook, what happens? Their stress goes up. The quality of service for the people in the room goes down. And usually they just let the phone ring because they physically can't get to it.
So this voice AI plus AI, it's supposed to solve that specific physical bottleneck?
That's it and more.
Let's get into what this thing actually is then. Because when I hear voice AI, I still get a little bit of PTSD from those early days of, say 1 for sales, say 2 for support.
And just shouting representative into the phone.
Yes. Shouting at my phone while driving.
We have all been there. This isn't that. It's not a phone tree. It's not a chatbot. It's a voice-first interface, a virtual frontline employee.
So it's configured with a personality, rules, that kind of thing.
Specific persona, a specific set of rules, and it has access to the business's actual data, and it doesn't sleep nights, weekends, holidays. But the real game changer, the feature that really breaks that human limitation we talked about, is simultaneity.
Quick question for med spa owners. How many calls did you miss this week? Because every unanswered call could be a $500 to $3,000 client booking somewhere else. That's why med spas are turning to Voice AI Plus, an AI-powered receptionist and follow-up system that answers every call 24/7, books appointments, and follows up automatically. No voicemail, no missed opportunities, no extra staff. And it doesn't stop there. Voice AI Plus also includes your CRM, booking calendar, email automation, and review management, all in one system. Try it free for 30 days and see the calls, the bookings, and the ROI for yourself. Visit the link in the description to learn more today.
Okay, this was the part in the notes where I had to stop and really think.
Yeah.
The source says it can handle unlimited calls simultaneously.
Yes.
But let's be practical. Let's say I run that small pizza shop and I have 3 people in my kitchen. Suddenly, the big game starts and 50 people call at the exact same time.
The AI answers all 50 instantly.
Great. But doesn't that just move the bottleneck from the phone to the kitchen?
That is a fantastic question. It's the one most business owners ask. But think about the alternative. In the old model, you answer one call and you just lose the other 49.
They go to a competitor.
Immediately. Yeah. In the AI model, you capture all 50 orders. So yes, the kitchen is slammed, but you have the revenue potential. It gives the business owner options.
Mm-hmm.
Or even more important, the AI can manage expectations. It can tell those 50 people, hey, it's game night. Wait times are about 90 minutes. Do you still want to order?
Ah, I see. So you're not losing the customer. You're managing the queue.
You're capturing the demand. You can't fulfill demand that you never even hear. The AI at least makes sure you have the option to take the money.
That makes a lot of sense. A busy kitchen is a much better problem than a silent phone.
Much better.
Okay, so we know it picks up, but the source material breaks down its functionality into what it calls the 3 pillars. And I want to get into these because answering the phone it's a bit vague. The first pillar is answering and booking.
Right. And booking is the key word there. It's not just taking a message like an old school answering service. This thing integrates directly with the business's calendar.
See, this is where I get a little skeptical of the tech. Calendars are messy. People are messy. If I call my dentist, I don't say, I require the 2 p.m. slot. I say, hey, do you have anything next Tuesday afternoon? No? Okay. What about Thursday morning? Can an AI really handle that kind of back and forth without sounding like a broken robot?
Well, according to the documentation, that negotiation is exactly what it's designed for. It reads real-time availability from the calendar, so when you ask for Tuesday afternoon, it checks the slots, sees they're full, and then it immediately suggests the next closest option. It's doing that logic puzzle a human receptionist does, but instantly.
Does it have a memory? Does it know who I am?
Yes, it has memory. If you've called before, it can recognize your number and pull up your context. It's designed to feel more like a relationship, not just a one-off transaction.
Okay. So that's inbound. That's playing defense. The second pillar is the one that really surprised me. The source talks about outbound capabilities. To me, that feels like a totally different ballgame.
It is. This is the shift from playing goalie to being a striker. Most local businesses are purely reactive. They sit there and wait for the phone to ring. Voice AI Plus can be set up to actually initiate calls.
Give me a use case for that, because if my dentist office just calls me out of the blue, I'm going to be confused.
Well, okay, let's stick with a dentist example. Think about no-shows. You book a cleaning 6 months in advance. You forget, the day comes, you don't show up, and the dentist loses an hour of revenue. They can't get that time back.
Right.
The AI can be set up to automatically call or text every single appointment 24 hours in advance to confirm.
Okay. But a human can do that. My dentist's receptionist does that.
Does she? Though, every single time, even when the lobby is packed, even when she's on her lunch break.
Your point. Probably not.
The AI does it every time. Thank you. But here's the dinker level, and this gets into the psychology of sales. Business owners, even their staff, they usually hate making sales calls. It feels awkward. It feels desperate.
Yeah. You feel like a telemarketer. It's the worst part of the job.
Exactly. Let's say you run a spa and you've got a list of 500 clients who haven't visited in a year. A human receptionist dreads calling that list.
It's just rejection after rejection.
The AI has no ego. It has no social anxiety. It can call those 500 people in an hour, be perfectly polite, and say, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. We've got a fall special. Interested?
And if 490 people say no, it doesn't get discouraged.
Not at all. But if 10 people say yes, that's found revenue. That is money the business absolutely never would have seen otherwise.
That's actually a really powerful point. It just removes the whole cringe factor from sales. It just executes the logic.
It separates the emotion for that execution. And for a business owner, that consistency is the holy grail.
Which leads us right into the third pillar they mentioned, brand consistency. We talked about the AI not having an ego, but it also doesn't have a bad day.
And this is huge for reputation management. We've all called a place where the person on the other end was clearly having a terrible day, right? Maybe they were rude or just short with you.
And then you go leave a 1-star review saying the receptionist was snarky. I've definitely done that.
We all have. Voice AI Plus lets you tune the personality. If you're a funeral home, you need a calm, empathetic, slow tone. If you're a party bus company, you want high energy and excitement. The AI hits that tone 100% of the time.
It never snaps at a rude customer. It never sighs loudly.
It's an emotional flatline, but in the best possible way for the brand.
But isn't there a risk there? If it's too consistent, doesn't it fall into that, the uncanny valley where it sounds polite, but it completely misses the vibe of the conversation?
That's a legitimate concern.
Like, if I'm calling a plumber because my basement is flooding and I'm panicking and the voice on the other end is super cheerful and chirpy, I'm going to lose my mind.
Absolutely. And that is a legitimate risk. Yeah. Which is why the configuration phase they talk about is so important. The source is clear. This isn't just plug and play. It uses sentiment analysis so it can detect urgency.
Uh-huh. But you're right. If it isn't tuned correctly, that mismatch in tone can be incredibly jarring. And that's where that word you mentioned comes in, operationalizing.
Yes. They talk about operationalizing the AI, not just selling it.
It sounds a bit like corporate jargon. What does it actually mean in practice?
It means they don't just email you a login and say, good luck. Most software companies are self serve. You buy it, you figure it out. Operationalizing means they build the workflow for you. They interview the business owner. They write the scripts. They set the rules for the calendar. They integrate it so it fits like a cog in the machine, not a tool you leave in the shed.
So they're acting more like consultants than just software vendors.
Precisely, because the tech is useless if it doesn't actually fit the real world workflow.
Okay. Let's talk brass tacks, money. Usually when we discuss custom AI solutions, we're talking about five-figure investments, consultants, developers. But I was looking at the price sheet in the source material, and I had to double check it.
It's surprisingly accessible.
They quote a base price of $297. I'm assuming that's per month. And that's after a 30-day free trial.
Based on the structure, yes, that appears to be a monthly operational cost. But just pause and compare that to the alternative. Hiring a full-time receptionist. What does that cost?
Oof. Even at minimum wage, you're looking at many thousands of dollars a month. Easy. Plus taxes, insurance.
So $297 is roughly 10% of the cost of one human employee. But the argument they make isn't just about saving money on salary. It's about the return on investment from the calls you don't miss.
They mentioned an ROI calculator for that.
They do. And the math's pretty simple. Let's go back to that dentist. What's one new patient worth? Maybe $500 for the first visit and cleaning?
At least. Probably more over their lifetime.
Right. But let's just say $500. If the AI catches one call a month, that would have gone to voicemail and been lost. The system has paid for itself almost twice over. If it catches 5 of those calls, you're making a massive profit on it. That's why they frame it as plugging a leak, not adding an expense.
It's the try before you buy thing that really got me, though. Seems like a bold move.
It's a risk reversal. They know business owners are skeptical. They know we're all afraid of robot voices. By letting them hear it and see it work before an invoice even hits their desk, they bridge that trust gap.
Speaking of trust, we have to address the elephant in the room, or maybe the robot in the room.
Mm-hmm.
As a listener, if I hear AI calling people automatically, my brain just screams spam. I hate robocalls. I block them. Is this just a fancy way to annoy people?
I'm glad you brought this up because it is the biggest hurdle for public perception. The source material has a specific section titled What It Is Not, and number 1 on that list is not a robocall system.
It's a robot making a call? How is that not a robocall?
It comes down to intent and interactivity. A robocall, the kind we all hate, is a broadcast. It's a recorded message blasting out to 10,000 random numbers to sell car warranties.
It talks ATU.
Right. It talks at you. Doesn't care who answers. Voice AI Plus is conversational. It listens. And crucially, it's usually operating within an existing relationship. It's calling your customers to confirm your appointment, or it's answering your inbound call. It's facilitating a service the customer actually wants.
Okay, that distinction helps. It's not cold calling strangers.
It's service, not spam. Yeah. The source also says it's not a replacement for human judgment.
What does that mean in practice?
It means the AI is a soldier, not a general. It's an execution engine. It handles the what and the when. What time is the appointment? When are you open? It doesn't handle the why. It doesn't do strategy. It doesn't handle complex emotional crises. If a customer calls crying because their dog died and they need to cancel a vet appointment, you probably want a human to handle that.
So the AI can take the message, but the business owner brings the humanity.
Exactly. It takes the out drudgery, not the leadership. It frees up the human staff to actually be well human.
So if we zoom out here, we started this whole podcast talking about the frustration of the voicemail beep, that dead end. It feels like we're moving toward a world where business hours are just an outdated concept.
I think that's inevitable. The idea of 9 to 5 was based on human limits. Yeah, we need to sleep. We need to eat. AI doesn't. This technology really decouples availability from human labor,
which just raises the bar for everyone. If I'm looking for a plumber and one business answers instantly at 3 a.m. and the other one emails me back 2 days later, the second business is basically dead.
Speed to lead has always been important, but now speed means instant and availability means always. If you aren't offering that, you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back.
It's a bit terrifying, but also exciting. Here's the final thought I want to leave everyone with, though. If we automate all the logistics, the booking, the confirming, the basic Q&A, and the AI does it perfectly, doesn't that put a ton of pressure on the actual human staff?
How do you mean?
Well, imagine a call to a business. The AI is instant. It's polite. It's hyper efficient. It books my appointment in 30 seconds. The experience is a 10 out of 10. Then I walk into the store and the person at the counter is grumpy, slow, and ignores me. That contrast is going to be incredibly jarring.
That is a profound insight. You're absolutely right. The AI sets a standard of perfection, inefficiency. It creates a promise.
Mm-hmm.
And the humans in the building now have to live up to that promise. They can't just be transactional anymore because the robot does transactional better than they ever could.
So the humans have to be more human.
They have to offer what the AI can't. Warmth, empathy, real creativity, actual connection. In a weird way, bringing in an AI employee might force us all to value the human touch much, much more because it becomes the premium part of the experience, not just the default.
The robot handles the calendar so the human can handle the smile.
Ideally, yes. That's the future we're looking at.
It's a fascinating shift from please leave a message to how can I help you right now? It really does seem like the era of hold music might finally be coming to an end.
And I don't think anyone is going to miss it.
All right, Rick, let's rewind today's episode because this one hit a nerve for anyone who's ever called a business and heard the voicemail beep.
That beep is the sound of money quietly disappearing. We started with that everyday moment, calling a dentist, a plumber, a pizza place, and realizing how often unanswered calls turn into lost customers.
Exactly. No one leaves voicemails anymore. They just hang up and call the next business on Google.
And that's what we framed as the silent killer of local businesses. Missed calls aren't just annoying, they're revenue leaks.
Which led us into the big idea. This isn't just a staffing problem, it's a human limitation problem. One person can only answer one call at a time.
Right? And hiring more staff usually doesn't make financial sense. So we introduced the concept of the AI employee, specifically Voice AI Plus.
And we were clear, this isn't a phone tree, and it's definitely not a robocall.
Nope. It's a voice-first AI agent that can answer unlimited calls simultaneously, book appointments directly on the calendar, and even call customers back automatically.
That simultaneity piece is huge. 50 people can call at once, and every single one gets answered.
Which means instead of losing demand, businesses finally capture it, even if they can't fulfill it immediately.
Then we broke it down into the 3 pillars. First, answering and booking real conversations, real scheduling, no voicemail roulette.
Second, outbound automation. appointment reminders, no-show prevention, and even reactivating old customers without the awkward sales calls.
And third, brand consistency. The AI never has a bad day, never snaps at a customer, and always matches the tone the business wants.
Which led to a really important point. AI doesn't replace humans. It removes the drudgery so humans can focus on empathy, service, and connection.
And when we talked cost, the contrast was wild, around $297 a month versus hiring another full-time employee.
If it captures even one missed call per month, it pays for itself.
So let's land this with some takeaways.
Takeaway 1. Missed calls are missed revenue, whether you notice it or not.
Takeaway 2. Availability now beats advertising. If you don't answer instantly, someone else will.
And takeaway 3. AI works best as an employee, not a tool, when it's operationalized into real workflows.
All right, action item time. This week, do one simple thing.
Call your own business during peak hours or after hours and see what happens.
If you hit voicemail, ask yourself, how many customers are doing exactly what you do and hanging up?
Because you can't fix a leak you refuse to look at.
And that's where this whole conversation starts.
Thanks for listening to AI for Beginners Demystified, brought to you by Internet Marketing Services, helping small businesses harness the power of AI to work smarter and grow faster. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Be sure to check out the description below for valuable links and resources, including free tools, learning guides, and ways to start applying AI in your business today. And visit internetmarketingservices.com to explore even more AI tools, tips, and resources. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep demystifying AI.